How's it going, guys? And I'm here with your SmackDown review, or Super SmackDown from MSG. I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed this show. I thought it was a real banger, you could say. Well, you know, I'm not gonna lie, this show was actually really fun to watch. It had a fun atmosphere. The crowd was not annoying. It was a very casual audience. Only towards the end did you get some "This is awesome" chants, and for the most part, it felt more like, you know, what I want a wrestling show to be. Now there still was problems, and there was one segment in particular that we're going to talk about that I didn't really care for. I think you can probably guess what it is if you're a longtime subscriber here on this channel. I don't think you really have to guess too hard about it. But anyway, you know, before we begin, I just, you know, want to say just a brief thing here on 9/11. And that's, you know, my heart goes out to anybody who lost somebody on this day. And, you know, this country is great. God bless it. And, well, you guys, you know how I feel if you follow me on social media, without a doubt. So, you know, with that said, yeah, I just want to put that out there. You know, 9/11, I truly will never forget. And there's so many others out there. There's many people will say that. As I said today on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, there's many people who use it as a hashtag. But, you know, I truly do feel that way. And with that said, we'll jump into SmackDown from MSG with a nice opening package to 9/11. You know, WWE always does these very classy. And, you know, then they make them in a way where they, you know, they're not divisive. You could, you know, have your thoughts on things that I'm sure people are offended by. Of course, they're going to be, you know. But anyway, we start off with Roman Reigns at the top of the show and the return of Brock Lesnar. Brock, you know, this is a look for Brock where, you know, I think it works so well because we're so used to seeing him look one way, and to have him do this, you know, appearance change. You know, I saw some people knocking it and like, you know, like, come on already. Brock Lesnar looks really good in this style. It kind of gives him like just a kind of refresh in a way. You know, not like Brock Lesnar really needs it because Brock Lesnar is Brock Lesnar. But, you know, this was a good segment. You know, I thought they were going to kind of, you know, give us the hijinks there with, you know, Roman just hightailing it out of there at the last minute. But I like, you know, how Heyman tried to save the day for himself and, you know, do the whole, you know, my name is Paul Heyman routine, and Brock wasn't having any of it. He told Heyman that he's challenging for the Universal title, and he picked Heyman up on his shoulders, kind of holding him hostage, going to give him the F5, and Roman comes back in, Superman punch, but Brock manages to recover. He destroys the Usos. And, you know, that was a great opening segment. You know, Roman is up the ramp. Brock is yelling at him in the ring. You know, of course, Brock won't go get him. You know, and for the rest of the show, you know, we talk about Brock Lesnar. The whole thing is, you know, they do weave that throughout the show. Will Reigns, you know, accept the challenge? We all know that he will, obviously. You know, I don't understand kind of like why we have to play these games, like do these kinds of tropes. Because, you know, these tropes, they wouldn't do this during the Attitude Era. Oh, I'm not going to give you an answer. Like, you always even had the heels would just, they'd accept it in the opening segment. Because they were tough guys, you know, they didn't always have to be this element of a chicken shit heel. And I know, you know, Reigns doesn't play that all the time anyway, thankfully, but you know, there's no point in doing this like, oh, will he accept or won't he? Like, we all know he will. Do we really have to go through that tiresome trope? So anyway, you know, instead of doing this, you know, what comes next with, Caleb Braxton coming and harassing Heyman, and Heyman doing his rivalry shtick, which I do find to be entertaining. I kind of do like that element that they carried over from the post show, the wrap-up show for SmackDown. But I rather see a pissed off Brock Lesnar looking for Reigns' dressing room, pounding on the door, even just do something like kicking the door in. Why don't we get that? I mean, like, I don't understand why this would be commonplace, on an old school show. And you could say, well, Brad, you just answered your question right there. They did it 1,000 times. Well, why do we do tiresome tropes that don't work, like, the one and done, and, ooh, will he accept the challenge? That's a trope that's tiresome, and that's a trope that no one really likes. I mean, I'm sure there's some people who like it. I don't understand who would like a predictable trope like that. And I get it. There's certain things in wrestling you can't avoid. That there's going to be certain tropes involved that they can't get away from because they work. But the thing is, you use the ones that work and you get rid of the ones that don't work. So get rid of this stupidity of like, oh, you did the thing in the ring and your segment ends. At least we do get a little bit of follow-up. It used to be a few years ago you get no follow-up. So at least they started leaning back into that. At least on SmackDown anyway. So, this is basically kind of what we get. That's just Brock in the opening segment. But, it's good, but I'm saying I'm being fair here. I'm not going to be a fanboy like a lot of the AEW fans accuse me of and be like, oh, he loves WWE, that's why he's bashing AEW. Well, here I am again, saying something that WWE's doing wrong. It's not good that they do that. They should follow up on their stories. And, I don't know what it is. If they feel like that's good enough and they don't want, and kind of like the thing that they had when they had Sting on their roster, they don't want to use him all the time because people will get sick of him. But the thing is, they do too little where it's like not enough, and they could, they go 50% when they could go 100%, 90%, 80% even. They always got to go 25, 50% on everything that they do. And that's why we can never come on these reviews and say this is an amazing, fantastic show. I mean, we're going to talk about there's good stuff on here. That was a good way to open up, but like, go beyond that. Show us a bit more. We want more. Brock is obviously the most over thing on this show next to Roman Reigns, so we should be seeing more of that element played out. So by the time, whenever it is that we're going to get this match, it seems like it might happen in Survivor Series, we'll be, ready for it. And we'll really want to see it because it had all this awesome build, but it needs to be more. And I feel like, they don't want to put all their eggs in one basket because, like, this was a good segment. So, they don't want to do too much because they're going to run out of ideas. But, like, if we really had talented writers and talented people and creative, they could easily think of something else. Even I could think of something else, and I'm sure you could too. Anyway, so, the thing with Heyman, we are getting a 10-man tag, and it's Trae Young from the Atlantic Hawks. I'm not a sports fan. I don't really know a lot about today's basketball, but it is kind of cool that they're doing Heat. This is the home of the New York Knicks, so this was a smart idea to have him come out. I know a lot of people don't like this, but like, those are like the AEW fans, the indie fans, where they don't understand crossover appeal, and they don't understand that, wrestling has that luxury. They give championship belts to the teams and everything, and many football fans or wrestling fans. People don't want to realize, just because they had Shaq and AEW, WWE had him first. And quite frankly, from what I saw, they used Shaq better in the segments that they put him in. Just saying. But anyway, there I am praising WWE again. Ho, 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 ho. You know, ooh, stop it, Brad. You're being a WWE fanboy, right? All right, well, anyway, so we get this 10-man tag. Sami Zayn introduces him. Big heel heat, so automatically the heels are getting more heat, and that's why it's smart to do that. You know, it's an old school tactic, and it works. See, tropes that make sense, that continue because they work. So we get Big E, Boogs, the Mysterios, and Mcafee defeating Sami Zayn, Apollo Crews, Otis, and the Dirty Dogs. You know, here's the thing. It's like we're throwing like all these people all in at the beginning of the show, and it's just like, you know, it was a fun match. And with a crowd like that was so hot for everything, and that's the thing I can't stress enough. And the other element, Pat McAfee being back. Pat McAfee, I gotta say, this is the best hiring that WWE has done for an announcer since Mauro Ranallo. I love Mauro Ranallo. I'm like, you know, when he left SmackDown, I'm just thinking of like just how much better SmackDown would have been if they put him on there, if they put him on Raw. Why they put him and wasted him in NXT? Such, such energy from that man, such enthusiasm, and Pat McAfee is sort of an extension of that positive energy. And, you know, you could see in my reviews, I wasn't sure what to think of this guy at first, but I like him, and I like him a lot, and I like what he brings to the table. He's quirky, he's a little bit of an oddball, he's a little bit eccentric, and that's what's so good. He just brings something so fresh to the table. And, you know, you kind of do hear it in Michael Cole. Michael Cole is going a little bit the extra mile in the commentary. He's doesn't sound as bored. He did say a while back that, you know, sort of Pat McAfee, gave him a re-energization of his career. You know, it really is, because when Pat McAfee walks into a room, it's like he gives that motherfucker a B12 shot. You know, like, you know, come on, like, let's be excited here. We're in front of a live crowd. And, you know, even the show might not be an A+. Let's make it, you know, let's give A+ energy. And that's what I love so much about this guy. Can't be more positive than to say how much I like this guy. And, you know, I see why he's so successful in his podcasting, because this guy is just like, first of all, you know, he's an athlete himself, former football star, which I didn't know about him till doing research on him. But, man, this guy is just incredible energy. And you can just see having Corey Graves on there and you know, all these other stand-ins for him. You know, man, he is just a great element to have on that show. And he just makes things look more over than they really are or should be. But this was a pretty fun match for what it was. It's just, I kind of look at the talent in there. You know, you're shoving the Money in the Bank winner in there. Rey Mysterio, you know, you've just got some real A+ guys in here. And, you know, when you kind of shove them in a 10-man tag, there's just a thing about a 10-man tag like this where not everyone is as over as they could or should be. And, you know, kind of even like with Boogs, like, even Boogs kind of got a little bit like lost in the shuffle where he, you know, you couldn't really appreciate all that charisma. So, you know, I get the idea we want to have all these different stars, all these top mid-carders in one match. And, you know, it worked. There was a hot crowd. People were into it. The heat was on. You know, for Trey Young, I had to look at his name again. I already forgot it. But, yeah, you know, fun match, energy. I could see why they booked it, but, you know, I'm just saying I would have really liked to see Rey Mysterio just have more of a spotlight. You know, this is the thing. It's like, we were talking about this in the Wrestling Gods Facebook group with like Jeff Hardy and stuff. Like, they had such amazing talent on here, like legends that, you know, have such credibility and such a sturdy reputation, and like they just don't use these people effectively enough. You know, they put these people are like A+, and they're giving them like these C-list roles on the show. And, you know, I mean, Mysterio's in better shape storyline wise than Jeff Hardy is, but you get my point, I think. So anyway, Big E gets the win on Zayn. And we get a little, like, post-match interview with Big E. And he's kind of still doing the whole New Day thing, which I don't get it. It's such, like, a weird element where it's like, Big E is supposed to be on his own, but he's never left this New Day thing behind because, like, they're so worried about, like, actually breaking up New Day that he's still spiritually in it. It's like, guys, just let go already. Let the New Day thing die already. It's, like, that important for, like, merchandise, even though they're not together. It's like they still gotta just, shoehorn it in there. And it just feels like they got it on life support. And, like, Big E, you see that he really wants to just be on his own, but they still just want to get that whole New Day vibe across. And it's just really tiresome. And all it does is kind of hold the guy back because, I mean, he's got such charisma. He's just so much more talented and has so much more value than Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. And, I think they kind of see that, but, he's hanging around backstage, and even though he's being funny and everything, I feel like he's kind of an afterthought. He really is. But, whatever. I mean, they had the spotlight on him here, but, like I said, fun and everything. I liked it. Now, we're going to kind of get into the cringy stuff here with Cringey Lynch and Bianca Belair in a contract signing. And I was saying to myself, like, again? Another contract signing in the span of, like, 2 weeks? We just had one right before SummerSlam with Sasha Banks and Bianca. Okay, maybe it was like 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, because, right, like, Sasha wasn't there the SmackDown before SummerSlam. But we're already having another one. And, like, come on already with these things. Like, we get it. You don't have anything else, and this is your placeholder for them. Anyway, we've got Cringey Lynch coming out. We've got the WWE officials out there, Scrap Heap, Adam Pearce, and Sonya Deville. And, we've got Cringey Lynch coming down, and I think the look was okay. This was a little bit better than the last time I saw her on Raw, wearing, like, the goofy things, the fur coat, the sunglasses. I kind of like it. I think that they should do this. If they're trying to get, like, Becky over as a heel, yeah, but, like, the thing is, she's coming out like this, and she doesn't really have the heel gimmick fully over. And, whatever, like I said, but it was a decent outfit, a larger-than-life appearance. I'm all for that. But let's talk about this promo here. And the fact that, like, I want to kind of say maybe it's not really her fault, it's the writing here. But, like, there was a heel turn in here. And it was probably the laziest heel turn I've ever seen. And I've been talking about this now for a few weeks now since she returned at SummerSlam. It's like they can't figure out what to do with her. Like, the night after SummerSlam, that should have been it. That's your heel promo right there. Turn her heel. You just put her over on your baby face. And the fact that she still came out there as like some kind of tweener that was still leaning more towards babyface than heel. I don't know how that one got past them, but here it is. Here's the heel turn. You know how they do it? This is how they do it. So Bianca signs her name. Cringey Lynch is about to sign her name, and she asks the question, well, what if I sign? And then Bianca says, sign, sign, sign. That one even in itself was a little cringy. But the crowd did respond, so we'll give her credit for that. She did manage to condition the crowd into a response, which deserves credit, because God knows we know that there's a lot of people in the roster who can't do that. So, that does show that Bianca is over to a certain extent. And, like I said, I like Bianca. I really do. I think that, they've kind of just dealt her a bad hand, and they're just not really too sure what to do with her. Stripping her of the belt like this, and, You know, like nothing was really gained out of this. Just a really sloppy heel turn. So Bianca goes, sign, sign, sign. And so she goes, oh, so this is what I get. She goes, you know, I came back for all you guys, and you said you were chanting, you know, we won Becky, and like that part was good, you know, and that's good. They're playing off for reality there, you know, they're interlacing that into the promo, so I like that. But then she goes, this is the way how you treat me, you know, and she signs, and it's like, okay, you know, she throws the contract to Bianca, and it's like, that was just such a half-hearted heel turn. I'm like, wow, like, they struggled for a reason. She crushed the baby face, and they just, you know, they just couldn't have her come out there and do the promo the night after, you know, the SmackDown after SummerSlam, and just get the heel character over, or just get it across at least. They waited this long, and that was really the best they could do. That was just really underwhelming, and yeah, and living up to her name once again is Cringey Lynch. Okay, so we move on here. We've got Edge making his entrance, super over, energetic entrance. The crowd's going crazy, and then we get a backstage segment. We're seeing Paul Heyman, and we see Tegan Nox and Shotzi rolling by in the tank, and they offer him a ride. Kayla Braxton comes to interview him, and then we go, and then Edge is still waiting in the ring. Like, they've done this several times within the past few years. And, okay, they don't do it every show, but, like, you're going to do that to Edge, and, you know, Edge is just there in the corner, like, waiting patiently. I mean, okay, I get it. Like, you know, they kind of want to show that, you know, anything can happen in the WWE. Like they used to say back in the day, and things are happening at all times, and I'm all for that. But to have the talent waiting in the ring, like, as they go through all this stuff, like, could you imagine if they had Stone Cold waiting in the ring, or The Rock waiting in the ring for a backstage segment to finish, and then they have it where, well, okay, now Rollins, you could come out because now they're finished doing all that stuff backstage. Like, it just seems really weird and a little bit too planned out. Like it's a variety hour, you know, and that's what WWE should be. It should be like a variety show. I mean, that's what it is, but not so segmented like that where it feels so disjointed. Like, okay, here's the entrance, and then here's the backstage segment, and then back to the end of Edge's entrance where he's still waiting in the ring. Like, just really weird and awkward, and I don't know, just like even just a little bit disrespectful to Edge coming there and just, you know, having to wait that long in front of the crowd. It's just really weird. Like, especially if you're like a live audience watching this and you're looking at the ring and there's Edge standing there and you're looking at stuff on the Titantron, like, okay. So this match right here, oh, and you had Big E laughing at Heyman backstage. She was making a little bit like more weird noises, which is entertaining and everything. And I kind of do like that this is like a running gag in a way. I just kind of wish that they would do more with their Money in the Bank out. Like, it just feels like it's living up to the legacy of Money in the Bank. They win the briefcase, and then they really don't do anything with them up until they cash in the Money in the Bank. I mean, this is just how it's always been. So this Rollins match with Edge, just, you know, just like SummerSlam, just a beautiful match. Just a great wrestling match. And, you know, I'm just seeing like Seth Rollins, he just doesn't look like an indie wrestler anymore. Edge has just like totally evolved this guy, like changed him into like a whole new wrestler. Better at promos, better in the ring, just like more believable now. I mean, like, I will tell you something, Edge is that fucking great where he is that much of a legend, that much of a great superstar, just and I know people have been misusing this term all-timer, but, I mean, he is an all-timer. He's one of the greatest of all time. And this is the thing. I mean, like, when this guy truly does retire, I mean, I really do hope that he trains wrestlers and teaches them how to cut promos and everything, because there's not a coincidence. I mean, he obviously helped Rollins. We could just all see that. Just all of a sudden, just like that, when he works with Edge, now he's like brilliant. No, that all credit goes to Edge on that one. No credit to the WWE themselves and their staff. That that this was just Edge 100%. So yeah, a great match. Annoying commercial breaks, but a good match and a really well done match and a really well-paced match, not the stuff we're used to seeing with Rollins back in the day. Just like really just a good classic style wrestling match with the right pacing and just doing everything, just in a way that just feels believable. And I like how they played off of the neck and the more dramatic finish. You got the kicks and just Edge, the curb stomp is put over big time here, and they get Edge on a stretcher. Rollins gets interviewed and he doesn't know what to think. I wasn't really too sure what to think of this post-interview. I thought it was a little bit weird. I don't know. It was almost like the thing with the eye for an eye match with Rey Mysterio, like, that he was so grotesque by what he did. Like, I don't know why we can't get remorseless heels. I don't get it. I really don't. It's like the same thing with the Bobby Lashley and MVP apologizing for their actions. Stop apologizing like you're heels. You should just put that over that you're happy you did what you did because you're bad. Ooh, ah, ah. That's what it is to be a heel. Unapologetic. What is this like? Well, I don't know what to feel. I'm not sure what to feel at all. I mean, this kind of felt a little bit more genuine and confused. It was better acted than how, Seth Rollins acting like cartoonish, throwing up and stuff with the whole Rey Mysterio thing. This felt a bit more genuine, and I appreciated that, but it felt a little off kilter to me. But I did like how they really put over the finisher, and this match really was good. I mean, just Edge is amazing, and Seth Rollins has improved so much. We got the main event now. We've got the Street Profits defeating the Usos by disqualification when Roman Reigns ran in. And this is another thing where I'm kind of starting to go the other way on the Street Profits. They're not as like, doing the annoying screaming promos and, Montez Ford acting like an idiot. I'm happy that they got away from that bullshit, and now they've just kind of, made them more tolerable. I'm not saying, don't take away their character, but the last time when they did a promo with the Usos, it was definitely more refined, not annoying. It just felt more natural and not as forced, like, hey, we're being funny, guys. Like, no, it felt better. And this match, like, Montez Ford is extremely athletic. I will never take that away from the guy. Whatever I said about his, annoying promos and impressions and stuff, I mean, that stuff was annoying. I do stand by that, but like, the height, the vertical leap that this guy has, I mean, the people praising the flippy dippy dudes in AEW, but I mean, as far as I can see, like a lot of stuff Montez Ford does is clean and crisp, as Meltzer would say, clean and crisp moves. I mean, when this guy does a move, he doesn't botch anything. He does it like really good looking and clean, and like, when this guy hits a frog splash or a cross body, like, you feel it. Like it looks good, and it looks like he's actually hitting these people. And yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good looking match to say the least. And so it ends in a disqualification when Reigns runs in, and then at the end we get Finn Balor returning as the Demon. And I really wish that he would be like this all the time. I can't believe that this Nimrod actually says that, well, I don't like putting on the paint. It takes too long. That's really what this guy said. And this is why, like, I can never be a fan of him. I mean, it's quite obvious. He don't have, he can get someone to put the paint on him. Like all the times when he's got it put on him in NXT. That's just so stupid. I mean, the guy has no character otherwise. He has no appeal. Leather jacket. Ooh, the Fonz. I mean, just like, no one is buying that he's a cool guy. So that ship has sailed long ago. People in NXT and that small audience might believe that, but, it's obvious the mainstream audience doesn't believe it. They don't see a believable wrestler in Finn Balor, but we see the demon Finn Balor, and then all of a sudden, all those other doubts wash away because we see a character, we see cool face paint, we see a pretty cool looking entrance, and yeah, I mean, the only thing I will say is I really wish that when Balor was not the demon, that he would use different theme music. Because I just think it would be more effective than just cutting out the beginning of his intro. That was something I've never really said that in a review or video before, but like, I've felt like that all along. Like, I really like Balor's theme. It's probably one of the best things about him. It's one of the best CFO compositions. But, yeah, I mean, it should just be reserved for the demon. And he should be the demon all the time. So they're face to face. And that's the show pretty much. I mean, this was not like an amazing, oh my God, terrific show. But like, it was a good, enjoyable show. There was no point in this show where I was bored to tears. I mean, yeah, I had some really good, entertaining matches. And aside from the Cringey Lynch Belair thing, I mean, I pretty much liked everything. I've had my criticisms here and there, but, I laughed. I was entertained. Pat McAfee was on fire. We had an Edge Rollins match. The Street Profits and Usos was entertaining. I mean, like, yeah, it was an entertaining night. It was just cool to have it there, and MSG, and it just, it felt good, and the ratings reflect that. I know a lot of the AEW fans, oh, it only got a 2.1 because it's 9/11. Like, all these stupid ass excuses. I can't wait to see Rampage get a low rating so we can say that SmackDown was better than Rampage, and it was proven in the ratings. But you probably won't see anyone reporting those ratings like they did like a lot of times in the past few shows, because they want to try to hide it, if it's not as good as what they want it to be. So, yeah, I mean, like, come on, guys. Like, if you're really saying that this was a terrible, piss-poor show, I mean, you're just being dishonest at this point. Like I said a long time ago, we have bashed WWE shows for many years. We have called them out on their bullshit for many years. There's, their complacency for many years. But, like, on a night like tonight, when they have a decent show, when they have a good show, when they have a show that's thoroughly entertaining, and I enjoy it, I'm not going to come on here and lie because you people want to hear me rage against something. So, like I said, this is what I say to all the people that want me to be more positive and not be so hateful. And I say that's not what I do. I tell the truth here. And when people want me to be more hateful, that's not what I do here either, because we tell the truth here on this channel, which is something that barely any of the channels do here. They tell people what they want to hear, and they exaggerate and they do all this, but I just tell you my honest opinions. And I think you guys see that wholeheartedly. I used to exaggerate for the purpose of entertainment years ago here on this channel, but those days are behind us because I want to share my real opinions. I think a lot of people do appreciate that. There's some people that want me to just go full out rage mode and exaggerate and be a WWE character basically. But, those were the younger days. These are the more, in-depth, and they're more fun because I don't have to worry about like raging and you know, having to do wild, crazy stuff every minute and make 1,000 different facial expressions. You know, so that's what I'm saying. We're being honest. We're telling the truth. We're giving our honest opinions, but still making fun of things when they deserve to be made fun of. And speaking of that, the one thing I do have to say that does deserve to be made fun of is, what is the deal with, I have to say this, with like, during the Edge Seth Rollins match, just want to throw this in real quick. Like, that female referee, what the fuck is up with her facial expressions? She always looks like genuinely, like, disgusted by everything. Like, I don't know, she's just really weird. I noticed this like in a lot of other matches, but like in this one, I was like, she really is just like, it looks like she's popping a squat. It really does. But anyway, on that note, I hope you guys all enjoyed. Let me know if you agree or disagree down in the comments below. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click the bell so you get all the notifications when I post all my new videos, because I know with a lot of my videos that you guys are not getting the notifications. You know, one video will like get a bunch of views, one won't really do so great, and just, you know, just do it. I think you'll thank yourself later if you really enjoy these videos, and I would appreciate it. And I want to thank all my patrons for your continued support. Thanks again, guys, so much for all your contributions, and I will see you again next time.